Tom, and I have got a round 2 model review for you.
Hey everybody, Model Man here up at Steve Neal's garage, and what I've done is to bring the 1350 Enterprise to have a look over at the 66 Enterprise, 66-inch Enterprise. So Steve certainly put a lot of thought and research into the design. I don't know if as much as long or as Gary had done, but the results definitely speak for themselves. And if you haven't seen the 66-inch Enterprise build up on Steve's channel, go to youtube.com/user/darkuboot and have a look around, because this build was definitely a phenomenal piece of work to watch come into existence. One thing it doesn't have, of course, is the grid lines. But I gotta say, round 2 did not do too bad at all, and in fact really did an excellent job everywhere. The one point that I'd specifically like to address is how well engineered all these pieces are. This is definitely something that slots together really nice and solid, and not only is it a tribute to Gary Kerr and Mike Anderson, Jim Small and Jamie Hood, but also the engineers who actually put this together and designed it, all the factory workers that are manufacturing it, and everybody involved up and down the production line. Of course, this is a little loose because there's another piece that's supposed to go in there. Let's ignore that fact for the moment, because in the end all these pieces just fit together awfully gosh darn well. Ah, see, that was even my fault because I had it in backwards. This can definitely weather a storm, that's for sure. You definitely wouldn't want to do this with the refit even after it was glued together. So congratulations to all you guys, because this is a really definitely well put together kit. I don't know if you'll find another one that's as well put together as this. And that's not to mention how well balanced this is, that it just sits there like that. I'm sure the weight's going to go off once you actually start putting things in here, but for a model to just sit like this, oops, hey, you go spinning it, it's going to spin. Actually, what that is probably more likely that my table is off balance, not the model. Yeah, if you don't do it too fast. I mean, it just sits there. This is really astounding to see. This is not something I would expect with a dispersed hull like this at all. Really stunning. Really, really stunning. And as to nacelle droop, there's really no way for me to judge that at all at this point. These parts are certainly loose. In the bottom of the hull here, there's another part that slots in there to lock that in at the right proper angle. Not really much twist going on right there. When you get to the top, there's a little more. But I imagine once you have the weight set up in the front and all along here, that's definitely going to counterbalance things. And that could be one way to go, is that if you have your own scales, you can find the center balance point on this and put it right there by simply adding some weights, either at the front, in the back, or wherever. And that should help, I would think, to keep your nacelle droop from ever happening. There was talk at Wonderfest about doing an armature for this, and I think the way it's engineered, especially these pylons here, it's so well done that you're really not going to be able to fit an armature in here whatsoever to begin with. I could be wrong on that. We'll find out as time goes by. However, I'm thinking that this is looking pretty sweet. And again, there's no way for me to really be able to tell at this point. Only time is going to be the big test for that. And yet another request was to have a side-by-side of the refit and the original shuttle. pulling all these out of here, it really surprised me that the refit came with so many of these. So in that regard, it's a definite disappointment that round 2 didn't include at least 2 original shuttles, if not 3. We've got 2 of 3 different kinds elsewhere on the refit. They definitely should have made room on a sprue for one more little Galileo, Copernicus, Columbus, or anything else. That you do get a shuttle though is definitely a nice touch. And as to the scale of the new shuttle versus the old shuttle in comparison to the hangar bay here, well, that's going to be something for you to decide. Another request was to take a good close-up look at both of the hangar bay clamshells. And hopefully this will give you the information you need. The back side doesn't have the clamshell lines on it. So if anyone looks at it from this angle, you may want to scribe your own clamshell lines on the inside. So on the bottom is the pilot version, on the top is the studio version. Not too much difference in them except for the texture on the sides here. I was asked if this texture seems to fall off at all apart from being absent in the middle of the piece, and to my eyes I would say no. It appears to be a solid and full texture all the way around, no matter which way you look at it and under whichever lighting conditions. Another modeler wanted to see the size difference between these 2 deflector dishes. I think that pretty much says it all right there. I'm going to guess that these parts are still used on the old one, as I don't see any new ones there. I had another request for a big fat close-up of this area here. Hopefully you're going to get the answers you're looking for on this shot. This bottom piece fell off the sprue, so I've mounted that into place. There seems to be a little bit of a lip going on right there. I don't know if technically that is supposed to be there or not. It seems counterintuitive to me, but what do I know? The fit is really nice on the front, no problems there. And the little doodad parts that get stuck onto the sides there, here are those. Nice, sharp, and crisp.